Hi everybody and welcome to Hollywood Hills once again. Now, if you are fans of the show, you know that we bang out a show every single Monday reviewing each of the events that have been raced on that weekend. We did that. We did a little highlight of what went down at GXCC. But this is now going to be a full edit, show 1 of 3, covering all of the categories and all the racing that went down on the day at Rysmierbult. That was the penultimate round of the GXCC Championship. Show number 1, the Logistix lads have done an absolute banger for us this time, focuses in on the juniors and the quad categories. And with a very tight championship and no throwaways on the points, everyone was out there to grab every single bit of cheese they possibly could. We hope you enjoy the show. This is Rysmierbult GXCC round number 4 of 5, covering the juniors and the quads.
We're very glad to be in Rysmierbult, and this is our cancer awareness race because it's October and it's Cancer Awareness Month, and we are doing dropping for the boobies for breast cancer awareness. Everybody's wearing something funny and something pink, and we really love that everybody's buying into this.
For the morning session out at Rysmierbult, it was going to be an incredible situation for the start line because even though the track wasn't going to dust up too bad, the plowed, bone-dry, whole-shot Q field was going to be Project Desert Storm. The first flag drops of the morning sent out our Q1 competitors racing out of the 450s, and on the championship it's been all about Gideon Jacobs and Keenan Hammond, although at this point Keenan Hammond has yet to take a victory on the tour. He was desperate to get his way through the dust, but it was going to be Gideon Jacobs, Stewie Fell and Keenan that were charging out front to see what they could do on the big 48-kilometer loop. The Q2s on the season has been all about Ati Simon. He was right smack bang in the middle of the whole shot queue, but up the inside line as he's done so many times this season. CD Gerson saw clear air himself, and champion-elect David Stratum ran 1 and 2 with Stratum making a pass before they went out into the fields, leaving Ati Simon, the championship leader, chewing on the dust. In the Quad Masters, it's been an incredible season where we've seen Philip Boyce all but dominate every single round of the championship. Coming back from lockdown, Brian Herbst being good off the gate, and once again he was rolling out on his stock 450. But after getting the whole shot, the hand came up, the bike died off, and once again it was that man, Philip Boyce, that ran off front. And Captain Consistency, Curbis Ferreira, was going to be right there challenging for a top 3 once again. Small numbers on the ladies' field, giving us just one big hitter and the rest of the ladies trying to chase down on the other numbers. Clear air for Marty Backfisher, trying to nail down a back-to-back title. She was our champion for the ladies class in 2019 and looking to go 2 for 2 in 2020. For the WOW Championship, an crazy story to see such a big field lining up, and they would go out to see what they could do. At the previous round, it was the Kawasaki of Matt Smith that got the job done on the day in the whooped-out terrain of Radium. This time around, he was going to have to see what he could do on the flatlands and in the dust. Sebastian Donnell actually got the big hole shot and roosted the heck out of everyone else in his tracks. Passers are going to have to wait until the open felt. Previous round winner, Matty, was in the 3 spot. Then as soon as the whole shot track was cleared, it was time to turn our attention to our juniors, where we picked up on the first gate, which was the senior 85s. Curbis Bester so strong off the gate, as he always is, with Joss Alexander and the incredibly tall, now dwarfing his little 85 Kawasaki, Troy Johnson. Johnson made a good pass in the early stages. Unfortunately, it looked like big problems for the kids sitting outside of the top 3, but in the early running, Bester, Johnson, and Alexander cleared the gate. A big gate forming in 2020 for our junior 85s, And on the season, it's been Keanu Visser. But what happened in lockdown was the unstoppable kid coming out of the 65s, who'd gone undefeated at the beginning of the season, changed across into the 85s. That was Damien Fenter on the Yamaha. So he was going to have to see what he could do against some very tight competition. This was a gate that has yet to be decided. But on the championship points, Keanu Visser remains the kid to beat. Then going back into our biggest gate of the junior category, the 65s, which gave us well over 20 kids. It was Hanyu de Kock, the last of the Mohicans, that got the big gate. One of the best hole shots we've seen coming out of Mackenzie Bam. Slotted it into an early number 2 spot, but she was going to be in the mix as well, because a very strong start saw Bruno Niebuhr get himself up into an early number 2 spot as he chased down on Hanyu de Kock, who'd had an amazing event at the previous events at Radium. The rest of the kids were sucking dust. 16-kilometer loop for our juniors. They'd be out there for a 2-hour racing format. In the 50cc's, a good pull from the inside line for John-Luc van der Westhuizen. Himself and Matty Meyer would be going at it once again. But we were watching out for the kid who's showed good form at the beginning of the season, and that was Vilko Deploy. Just before the end of the whole shot queue, it looked like Van der Westhuizen would be heading out into the fields with clear air, but an incredibly aggressive move put Deploy up the inside in the last hay bale, and he would see clear air. Here's Vian to tell us about the layout of the track.
We haven't been here for about 2 years, so there's lots of terrain that have now grown back, and we had to cut quite a lot of grass. Also trees that have just overgrown completely. Bit of dust, but because it's hard pack, you actually find that it's like a highway, and you don't have a lot of loose sand and soil that can create dust. In the grassy sections, yes, it'll pick up there. Loose soil, it will start creating dust. But hard pack most of the time, juniors, they'll have the odd little loosey rock area, but no technical area whatsoever. 16k loop for them, and it's going to be good fun.
The wind was definitely going to help things out as well, howling the whole way through the day. Unfortunately, actually so strong we couldn't even put the drone up in the sky. Out on the track though, the kids that cracked their way inside a top 7 ride coming out of the 50cc gates. Liam Skeepers starting to find some good form. They did battle in the more technical zones though, with those little wheels and not too much power on the wheels. Cracking a top 6 this time around. Cade Cruz-Williams, who has shown form and started to build pace throughout the season, got himself up there. He was chasing down on the number C999 of Peter Meyer, spanking a top 5 finish with a little help from Dad. Cool thing that the chaperones, remember they have to stay behind the riders to stay well out of the way. John-Luc van der Westhuizen, even though he was in with a shout of running not only for a podium but also for a win on the day, unfortunately late race punches dropped him down the order. He should have finished inside the top 3. He still managed to get a top 4 ride. Christian Bellingham, another one of the kids that's been running good coming out of the Middelburg area, walks away with his highest podium of the season, cracking a number 3 ride here at the Super Tech Terrain in the Rysmierbult. Coming into this round of the championship, Matty Meyer had hardly put a foot wrong. This time around, unfortunately, some issues on the day. He just couldn't run with the pace of the man that checked out front, and it was this kid, Vilko Deploy. He is going to walk away as our new winner on the tour on the 50cc gate. Only 2 other riders have taken victories. Matty Meyer, as well as championship points leader coming into this round, Derek Milan. But very cool to see a new winner on the tour as we close in on the end of the season. Here's confirmation of Deploy's win ahead of Meyer and Bellingham, Van der Westhuizen, Meyer, Williams and Skeepers, and a get well soon to Derek Milan. We should see him in the early part of next year. Out on the track then as we go back into the 65cc's, which once again on our junior category was the biggest entry. So we're going to be running and tagging our top 10 riders. Alonso Foster managed to get himself into a number 10 ride. Ivana Fenter loved the riding style on this girl. You can see she's very powerful, stands up high on the pegs, and a little bit of off-road and motocross crossover definitely pays the bills when it comes to getting the results. Casey Sham walked away with a number 8 ride, chasing down on Quacker Olivier. Quacker actually starting his racing campaign a couple of years ago in off-road buggies. So cool to see that crossover from the 4 wheels to the 2 wheels. Ben van Skalkbeek was inside of a podium place. He cracked a number 6 ride, one of the top Kawasaki's that's still running out there racing on the GXCC Tour. Just up the road was Mackenzie Bam. Mackenzie unfortunately having a late hole shot cue fall over. That meant she was chasing through the dust. She made a ton of passes out there. And a lady that should be challenging for a top 3, she certainly is in the championship chase. This time around, she had to settle for a number 5 ride. Corbin Muller then was upgraded up to a number 4 ride this time around, as he had some good clear air to play with on a couple of the laps. Hanyu de Kock, who had been the whole shot superstar and almost untouchable at the previous event at Rodium, this time around he was bettered and had to drop down to a number 3 ride, but it's still going to be good numbers on the page for the championship come the end of the season. Jake the Snake Pretorius was up there in a number 2 spot. Cannot wait to see what the future holds for this kid. On the cards, it does sound like he's moving up to the Junior 85s in 2021. Second place this time around. But it was once again the unstoppable Bruno Niebuhr. He wasn't happy about having to take in the beat from Damien Fenter in the early 2 rounds of the season, but since we've come back racing, he is now the kid to beat and should be the championship leader heading into the final round. Here's confirmation of Niebuhr taking round number 4 victory ahead of Jake the Snake, de Kock, Muller and Bam, rounding out a rock-solid top 5, remember, on a gate that's almost 20 kids deep. On the Junior 85s, the big story is always cracking your way inside of a top 10. Zach Attack Johnson walked away with the 10 spot this time around. Also a kid looking to make the big move up into the next Senior 85s going forward into next year. Coming off a slew of mechanicals, more mechanicals unfortunately coming around the corner for Brendan Clark. Clarky should be a top 5 runner every single time, unfortunately dropping down to a number 9 this time around. Timmy Blake has been doing some off-season training, or forced off-season, we call it lockdown training, up in Middelburg, and he managed to tag a number 8 ride, chasing down on Lohan LaRue. LaRue was the last of the kids to just miss out on taking the top 6 ride. That honor came to the next rider, Franco Furi. Franco's been so cool as well, and he had to win the prize as the most pinked up kid out there. Full commitment, even spraying the tires pink on his J400 KTM. Kitleko Makani, he's been looking so strong. In fact, sitting number 2 spot in the championship coming into this round, but he had some late race problems and he had to drop down to a number 5 finish come the end of play. That's his lowest finish on the season to date. Edwin Dreyer, one of the big muscular kids, got the job done as well, also about to outgrow his machine, looking to upgrade into the slightly bigger wheels version. And then Damien Fenter, the kid who went 2 for 2 at the beginning of the season in the 65cc gate. In the mid-season, made the jump across into the 85s, walks away with his first GXCC podium in the Junior 85 category. Championship points leader Keanu Fisser this time around is playing the championship game. Walks away with a 2nd place ride. Doesn't have to win them all to still walk away with the title. 2nd place is good enough to stay in the top spot. Top spot on the day though came to the super stylish Thor Johnson, the kid who can turn his hand to cross country, enduro and motocross. And for me, was the coolest looking kid out there in the old school Jeff Emig Thor pink Fast Boys kit. Checkers for Thor Johnson. Confirmation of the result then sees Thor Johnson top of the pile, championship points leader Fisser in the 2 spot. Fenter takes his number 3 spot, and that's his highest finish on the new wheels, ahead of Dreyer and McKinney. And then the Senior 85s, the big kids that were absolutely pinners. Johnny Luck, his luck ran out, unfortunately, a late race puncher, dropping him down to a number 7 whilst he was in the chase to run for a top 5 on the day. Nicole Duplessis gets another podium to tag her championship chase tally. She's looking good on the championship points as well. Consistency and finishes pay the bills for Duplessis. Matty Harris, a number 5 ride, and a kid that is starting to make a name for himself at GXCC Racing, should be a player in the 2021 championship. Josh Alexander, who's so good coming off the gate, just gets boxed out a little bit out on the big tracks, but he is definitely a kid to watch out for the future. So strong, and once again bringing points to tally for the championship. 4th place on one of the most testing and demanding terrains the kids have had to race. Wasn't a problem for Gabriel DeToy. He banged home a number 3 ride, just getting beaten out on the day by Baby Bester. Remember, Curtis Bester, to this point, has been almost undefeated on the season. It took a very strong ride for anyone to knock Curtis Bester off his perch, and it came from this guy. Troy Johnson, who is absolutely dwarfing his little 85cc Kawasaki, waiting desperately for the time when he can move up to the 125s, but he is poetry in motion at the moment, puts the bike exactly where he wants it, and this time he put it exactly where he wanted it in the event, on the top step. Great to see a new winner, and it's been a long time coming for Troy the Destroyer Johnson, and that on an ancient Kawasaki 85, beating out Bester, DeToy, Alexander and Harris for the top 5. That was our top runners in the junior category. Next up, quad racing. The quad wows were out there on exactly the same loop as the pro categories, doing what was on for a predicted 4 laps. Most of the wows tagging a 3-lap racing format. Local kid, Gerrit Oosthuizen, did a good job on a completely out-the-box stock standard machine to walk away with a number 5 finish. The whole shot kid, Sebastian Danil, was a little bit too tail happy out there, couldn't get the traction down, would definitely be looking for some new CST rubber to get the hookup going next time around. He did walk away though with a number 4 finish on the day and completed his lap allocation. Johan Otto, also similar situation. Johan has been racing out with us before, didn't enjoy the sandy terrain at the previous event. At Radium, this time around the hardback slightly more playing into his wheelhouse, and he walked away with a top 3 ride. Reinhard van Jaarsveld was good out there on the terrain. He said it was a little bit too tight and technical in the rocks, lost a little bit of time, but on the flat, hard pack, open sections, he was very strong. Did have a good dice most of the way through the event as well with the previous event winner, Matt Smith. But there can be only one, as they say. Van Jaarsveld was a 2 spot, meaning it was the Kawasaki on top once again. Matt Smith doing an amazing job on the only fuel injection Kawasaki out there on the trails on SA Racing. Took his first win of the season at the previous event at Radium and backed that up with another win here at round number 4. The Kawasaki kid is good to go once again as we head to the final round. Confirmation of Matt Smith on the top of the steps ahead of Van Jaarsveld, Otto, Danil and Oosthuizen. On the season, our quad ladies numbers have been dwindling, unfortunately. This was our lowest entry of the season for 2020. We are hoping to get them back on a full gate. We know we can definitely get 10 of the best coming GXCC Racing. This time around, Celeste Berger, who has raced every single round of the championship and is looking good for a number 2 spot potentially for the championship, slotted into 3rd this time around, meaning Renette Duplessis was good enough to just beat her out by 1 position, not too far ahead on lap times either. She walked away with an under 2 spot out here at the tough and technical terrain at Rysmierbult. Marty Backfisher pulled the whole shot, which meant she had clear air the whole way through the day. She was the best of the ladies, running banging lap times, even had enough time on her event to stop and help out a mechanically injured teammate. So once again, Marty Backfisher looks like she's lining herself up to take the ladies quad number 1 plate in 2020 to back up her championship in 2019. Marty, Rysmierbult, one of those tracks you either love or hate. What's your feeling?
No, I love it. It was tight and everything, but it was nice.
Tough for the girls' championship. We've seen a lot of girls go missing along the way, but you're still at the top of the pile and we've got 1 round to go, eh?
Yeah, it's sad all the girls that's dropping out, but at least I'm top, so it's an easy one this year.
The team are looking good as well. I mean, what's the idea? 4-2-1 trying to get the lockout once again.
Yeah, we've tried. Unfortunately, I think Brian is not in the top, but we've tried, so we've managed to do it. So.
Confirmation of Marty on top at Rysmierbult with Duplessis and Berger chasing her, but the championship is not decided yet. They're keeping her very honest. For the Quad Masters, it was an incredible story where we saw good numbers on the gate. The one name missing inside the top 5 was Brian Herbst, as he had to retire, unfortunately. His quad saying goodbye only 2 corners into the race. William Wilson came good this time around. Great number on his 450 machine, racing out of the 421 squad. 5th place for him on the day. Francois Berger, who has incredibly been a championship spoiler this season and could walk away with a number 3 spot. He's in the dice for 3rd for the championship between himself and Nico Smith. This time around, 4th place on the bounce for Big Berger. Nico Smith then was the next name in the queue, walking away with the 3rd place, and he has been rock solid in 2020. Showing good form, not just bringing home consistent finishes, but improving his riding and his fitness at every single round we go out there. Consistency pays the bills for the Masters Championship. One of, not quite the most consistent rider, but one of the most consistent. Cobus Ferreira is keeping our championship leader in check, banging second places at almost every single event. It was very tight and technical terrain, not exactly to Cobus Ferreira's liking this time around, but he still managed to bring home his customary number 2 spot. There's a win in his future. It may well come at the final round, but the season is running out of time. That meant it was once again 4 starts and 4 wins for the unstoppable Philip Boyce. He is proving a tough man to beat on the KTM 525. No mechanical issues, no punches. That's been the story of his season. Just banging the laps and bringing home the wins at every single round. He's setting himself up on the GXC Tour as one of the few riders that may well go unbeaten with just 1 round remaining out in Dalmas in 1 month's time. Confirmation of Boyce on top once again. That, once again, is 4 wins out of 4 ahead of Ferreira, Smith, Berger, and Wilson. Now into the pro categories, the Q2s, that is the unlimited category, the guys that go second out of the queue. And this time around, late event problems once again. Coming out of Busman Racing's Stefan Ferreira, dropping him down to an 8th place where he should be out there challenging for a top 5. Same story for David Stratham, the man who was setting himself up for a championship challenge. He was in great form and unfortunately late on in the race, jammed up a stone, snapped his chain, lost a couple of teeth, more importantly, lost a lap in the event and was scored down in a number 7. That for David, as unfortunately the end of his championship challenge. Paul Duplessis almost looped it out the back door, but did grab his first top 6 of the season to bring it home nicely on the L365. On the other side of the Ferreira coin, Christian Ferreira has been a little bit more solid on the season on the L51, bags and tags a number 5, and will be challenging for a number 5 in the championship come the end of the season as well for the open category. Rian Dick, who's been battling to find the form that almost saw him nail down a championship just 2 seasons ago. Riding out of the EMD racing squad, Rian Dick did look after his fallen teammate as well, so played the team game, lost himself a little bit of time along the way, but did still credit a number 4 ride. The teammate he helped was Ati Simon. Coming into this round, Ati was the championship points leader and desperately needed those points on the plate. With a little help from his friend, Rian Dick, he did manage to squeak number 3, but in so doing, lost the championship lead, but only by a mere handful of points. Late season form from Reinhard Swart is robbing championship points for the championship hopefuls. Second place though is his best ride on the GXCC Tour, and so cool to see a new would-be champ coming forward. Desperate to see this guy make the whole lineup queue and come racing for the whole tour in 2021. And then just 2 weeks back, winning out at the Rutan Rally certainly injected some confidence into this kid. The whole shot, and now his first ever GXCC win in the championship. CD Goosen is a man on fire at the moment, riding on the fast KTM. He takes the checkers.
Dov, normally I'm talking to you for a win. This time around it was the old mechanical gremlins. I suppose they had to catch you at some point.
Yeah, luckily nothing on the bike's fault or my fault. Just a small rock, and there's millions of them out there. Just got caught in the chain and it broke one of the tooth off the back sprocket, so it got jammed in the front, so I had to make a bush mechanic to get it fixed and put it back on the sprocket, hit those 2 teeth that's off, so I'm from a 36 down to a 34 sprocket at the back, but the bike's still running fine. I just missed 1 lap with that, so yeah, bummed.
CD, from a win a couple of weeks ago at the Rutan Rally, now a GXCC win. You're on fire, dude.
It feels really nice to finally get my breakthrough and start lining up those wins.
Tell me about the championship, because David had a bad day, you had a good day, Ati had a bad day. It's all starting to look very CD.
I hope so. I haven't seen Ati's points, but I think I'm second or first now. Yeah.
Tell me about the terrain today. It obviously suited your style, and you've been training with Keenan. Keenan took his win, you took yours. Training buddies taking the ones.
Oh, that's this terrain really fell into my hands. It's what I'm training on. It's what I like, what I can read better, and it definitely paid off to put in the hard effort.
confirmation of CD Goosen on top, and with that, confirmation that he takes over the championship lead with 1 round to go. Swat, Simon, Dick, and Ferreira rounded out the top 5 on the day. And then the Q1s, the guys that went out of the gate first and opened up the track fresh in the morning. 5 riders out of the Q1 Pro 450s credited with the 4-lap allocation. Ramon Lopez, cool to see him back racing with us again, and we know that he can build his pace and get better and better as time goes on. One of the former junior quad racers from back in the day, used to race out of Waterite Racing. Cool that Jake Wilson joined us once again on the 718 and walked away with a number 4 ride. That's cool. Now getting looked after by the 421 Racing Squad. Stewie Fell, that is trying to cement his number 3 spot in the championship. He's been on form and on fire the whole way through 2020, and he's looking down the barrel of a top 3 in the championship. 1 or 2 small mistakes, but the pace is 100% there for Fell, getting a 3 spot on the day. In a straight-up fight, the first straight-up fight that we've really seen on the season, Gideon Jacobs, even though he walked away with the big win at the previous round at Radium, this time around he was pushed to the limit. And someone beat him, which means Jacobs walked away with a 2 spot. Should still be leading the championship chase though, as he has been the most consistent rider on the tour. Keenan Hammond has been desperate to get the win streak going in 2020. He's left it late on in the day as the GXCCs are closing in on the end of their 5-round championship with round number 4 here at Rysmierbult. But Keenan Hammond said the track was dialed in perfectly, almost custom made for him, his riding style and his machine. Hammond finally sees the checkers in 2020 to tag his win.
Keenan, cracker of a race for you to try and tighten up this already tight championship.
Yeah, definitely. Today I love the terrain. It's been the best race of the year. I've been looking to win and I haven't been able to win this year, and today we finally got that done. It was an awesome track and I just loved today.
Everyone talks about the fact that, Rysmierbult, there's all these little rocks and stuff kicking around. How opened up is this track?
Definitely, the rocks in the first section, it's really tight and nice, but then it starts to open up and get quite rough, which quite suits my style of riding, and it was just an amazing track for today.
What do you think about this championship? It's going down to the wire, isn't it?
Definitely, it's going to be tight. I think there would be about 3 points separating us now. I think so. If I win next race, no, I'm not sure, but I need some good luck next race. I do need some good luck.
Gideon, it's a very rare thing that you get beat out in a straight-up fight, but you did this time. Second place still keeps the championship alive, but it's crumbs now.
Yes, Keenan was flying today. It was just on it. Yeah, that first lap I was ahead and got a little bump, and he came past, and yes, I gave it my all. Just couldn't catch up to him again. So well done to him.
Terrain, obviously, Keenan's loving it. He's going crazy. He says he loves it tight and tech. It definitely played to his points.
Now look, this is always bumpy and rocky, but awesome terrain. I love it. It's hard. It's in your face. It's not a hand cable kind of race. You need to pay attention the whole time.
Literally, this championship goes down to the final round now.
That's final round. So I need to get my fitness up and then get in front.
The top 3 runners in the Q1 championship in the top 3 here at Rysmierbult, but it's Hammond on top this time around, putting Jacobs down to a number 2 spot and Fell in his customary 3 spot. That's our review of the Rysmierbult round number 4 of the GXCC Championship for our quads and our juniors. Lots of championships still to be decided, so remember, Delmas on the 28th of November. That is where we will get our number 1 plates confirmed for all of the categories for 2020. So that's our review of the quads and the juniors. Watch out for next week as well, while we'll go into our second show. That's part number 2 of 3, which will be our pro motorcycle categories. And also remember, guys, we have already seen that the advert has gone out for the GXCC final, the finale, which will be on the 28th of November at Delmas. So just around the corner. Everyone should be able to make the gate, and if you're in it to win it for the championship, make sure you get those entries in as quick as possible. For now, we're going to sign off with that. We're going straight into the next part of the edit to bring the big show for the pro bikes, and then show number 3 will be the support classes. For now, hope you enjoyed the quads and the juniors. We're going to sign off with that. Get the entries in for the next round, and remember, Hollywood Hills and LiveX will be up at Farm Jam on the 14th of November. Also, I'll be live on the mic, and the LiveX lads will be putting together a full production. So if you want to get famous, get up and line up at Farm Jam. Also to be entered on racecontrol.co.za. See you guys up there.